am melting zinc and pouring them in these coin molds in order to have some giveaways at my craft shows for my customers. And also it's just a marketing thing right now. I mean, I guess I could sell these, but right now it's really just a marketing thing, giveaways and such. So the issue I've been having when pouring these is I'm dealing with the mighty meniscus. Now the meniscus is that rise in level between the surface of the whatever object you're pouring into. That rise that's due to the density of the zinc creates an extra thick coin that I really don't need. So what I'd like to do, I think I have come up with a solution to combat the mighty meniscus. Okay, so here's my setup. I've got a torch that is specifically designed to point downward. Now that helps out a lot. Most of these other torches that I've used tend to sputter and die out when pointed down. It's got something to do with the propane flow and the airflow and the crowding the end of it, like I tend to do in order to get the flame down into the crucible. So far this one works pretty good, and what I'm doing is I have produced some zinc ingots that'll help speed things up. But really, to get going and to do an explanation, all right, so this setup over here is a vibrating board that I've used to shake up these molds a little bit while I'm pouring, and that seems to, so far, that seems to minimize that rise, and it enables me to pour a thinner coin and not waste so much. You know, it doesn't need to be that particularly heavy, just needs to look nice, and I think thinner is better. This setup here is a hand sander. It's variable speed, and that's really important, I have found. And I have a foot pedal to control it, turn it on just before I pour and as soon as I'm done. So this works out really good. So I'll show how that works out. We'll go ahead and lock down this camera and we'll get going. Alright, so we really have to get this torch going here. So this thing works pretty good. Been using it quite a bit lately. We've got to get this crucible heated up, and once I get that going, I can keep pouring coins for as long as I want. So these little zinc ingots fit in the crucible quite nicely. So we'll get a couple of those in progress. Alright, so as far as this vibrating board, like I said, I've got a hand sander hooked up to it. It's got a Velcro attachment plate, so I glued 2 pieces of Velcro to the board. So one of them is attached to the hand sander vibrator. It's an orbital, and the other one is hooked up to these blocks of wood. I had to come up with something that would hold the mold and be able to vibrate along with the board. So this is actually kind of worked out kind of nice so far. So I can go ahead and stick that on there. These little pins are situated so it will hold the mold itself. Now these graphite molds, there's several of them out there. So far, no matter who I get them from, as long as the graphite is a good quality type of graphite, it works pretty well. They're basically indestructible as long as you don't drop them, like I have done a couple of times. But even then, they haven't chipped or broken on me. So these will fit right inside of this frame. Now I've got a big notch cut out here so that as soon as it's poured, I can grab it with my pliers and let it cool and dump it. I want to get this thing off of here as quickly as possible because the glue that was used to attach the Velcro, if it gets too hot, it'll come loose, and I'll have a big problem with that. Okay, so this is what we're doing so far. Now this coin on the left, this was poured without the use of the shaker table. It is pretty thick, and you see, because of the properties of this meniscus, it creates a really thick coin. So you have to pour it to a certain point to get it to fill correctly, and when you do, you end up with this really thick coin. Now if I conversely put this in with the shaker, it drops that meniscus down, it spreads the whole liquid metal evenly throughout the mold, and it cools rather quickly, so you don't get that big rise in the metal here. Alright, so this works out better for me. I'll weigh these and get a comparison on the two coins, one with and without being poured in the shaker table. Okay, so looks like we're getting down towards the bottom of the crucible. Experience here is shown that I'm usually pouring somewhere between 750 and 800. So let me just finish stirring this up, make sure I'm all the way down to the bottom, and I'll give it one last skim. Now these ingots are pretty clean already, so not a whole lot. Stir it up one more time. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to pour this one without the shaker table and show how the meniscus wants to fill up the entire mold before it's complete, and that makes it really thick. Okay, so that's a full pour. I did not intentionally over pour it. In order to get the full spread, this is how much you have to put in. And you see that's freezing up, and I want to get it off as soon as possible so that we're not melting my glue. Alright, so now we'll do one with the shaker table. Go. Okay, so as you see, I could pour a lot less. The vibrating board gets it to spread out really nicely, and I'm using quite a bit less zinc to fill that mold. So I think in that regard it's a success, and we'll go ahead and dump her out. Alright, well, the surface on that one, probably because of the vibrations, makes it look a little funky. It's the first time I've seen that. Go ahead and we'll do another one real quick. Okay, obviously there's a little bit of a finesse technique to get this done, but you get the idea. We'll see if that one turned out any better. Now I had to double pour that one, so I probably used more than I should have had to. Alright, so I'm going to remelt this one here that turned out really thick. And we'll pour it again. This time I will pre-coat the inside with a little baby powder. Now, normally this is not necessary on these graphite molds. It's just that because of the vibrations I'm doing, it causes a little deflection on the surface. And let's see if that helps. See. Maybe the key is not to vibrate very long, or oh yeah, it looks pretty good. These are going to buff up real nice. Let me go ahead and we'll do this smaller one. Let's see. Change out that block. That up a little bit. Okay. Give that one a pour. Yeah, that one a little too much in on that particular pour. Let's go ahead and remelt this one. As you can see, I got too much in there. It overflowed the mold. We'll try it again. Like I said, still trying to get the technique down to do it, and some of them I do really well, and some of them I just, don't know when to stop pouring. But here's one of those. Turned out pretty thin, and that's what I'm shooting for. Alright, so I also might have to refine my system a little bit, maybe come up with better ways to attach the molds to these blocks, but right now it seems to be working enough to know that this is a viable solution for pouring these. Here we go, let's try it again. So the trick is to just know when to stop. See if I got enough for another one. Yeah, that was a good one. See, as soon as it freezes, you got to get it out of that box. Yeah, that one turned out nice. Okay, pretty thin. A lot thinner than doing it without, I can tell you that. So just wanted to show everybody that. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, and we'll see you on the next one.